Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to share this crazy story with you all today. As you can probably tell from the title, we're going to be diving into the harrowing ordeal that music mogul Diddy went through back in 2024 when his home was the target of a violent shooting. Now I know a lot of you have probably already heard bits and pieces of this story floating around online, but I can guarantee you've never heard the full and censored details, and trust me, this is one wild ride. I remember when the news first broke, it was just absolutely shocking. One of the biggest names in the music industry, the one and only Diddy, caught up in a shooting at his own home. It was the kind of thing you'd expect to see in an action movie, not real life. But as we're about to find out, the reality of what went down that night was even crazier than anything Hollywood could dream up. So if you guys are ready, buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into one of the most intense celebrity stories of the year. By the end of this video, I can promise you'll be on the edge of your seat, and you might even be reaching for the subscribe button. This is the kind of content you're not going to want to miss. Let's get started. It was a warm summer night in Los Angeles when the unthinkable happened at Diddy's sprawling mansion. The 54-year-old music mogul was relaxing at home, enjoying a quiet evening after a long day of work, when suddenly the peace was shattered by the sound of gunfire. According to reports, a group of armed intruders had managed to breach the tight security at Diddy's property and launched a brazen attack, opening fire indiscriminately. Diddy, who was caught completely off guard, found himself in the middle of a terrifying crossfire as bullets whizzed past him. It was total chaos, one eyewitness later recalled. One minute everything was fine, and the next thing you know, there's just gunshots ringing out everywhere. It was like a war zone. In the pandemonium, Diddy somehow managed to evade the hail of bullets and make it to safety, but he wasn't unscathed. As he ran for cover, a stray round caught him in the arm, leaving a deep, bleeding gash. He was definitely in shock, you could tell, the eyewitness said. There was blood everywhere, and he just had this wild, terrified look on his face. I think he realized in that moment how close he had come to dying. With his arm hanging limply at his side and the pain searing through him, Diddy knew he needed to get medical attention fast. Ignoring the continued gunfire, he made a desperate dash for the nearest exit, his bodyguards providing cover fire to keep the attackers at bay. Miraculously, Diddy managed to make it outside, where his driver was waiting with the car running, ready to make a swift getaway. Without a moment's hesitation, Diddy flung himself into the back seat, his bodyguards piling in behind him. They were booking it out of there, the eyewitness said. I've never seen a car take off that fast before. It was clear they were trying to put as much distance between themselves and those shooters as possible. As the car sped through the streets of LA, Diddy clutched his wounded arm, the adrenaline finally starting to wear off as the full weight of what had just happened hit him. He was shaken, scared, and in excruciating pain. But above all, he was thankful to be alive. With Diddy's life-threatening injury, there was no time to waste. His driver gunned the engine, weaving recklessly through traffic as they raced against the clock to get the music mogul to the nearest hospital. You could tell they were in a massive hurry, one motorist who witnessed the high-speed pursuit later said. That car was flying, running red lights and everything. I've never seen anything like it. In the back seat, Diddy was clutching his wounded arm, blood soaking through his designer shirt. His bodyguards were doing their best to apply pressure and stem the bleeding, but the injury was serious. They knew that every second counted. Diddy was in really bad shape. One of the bodyguards later recounted. He was pale, sweating, barely conscious. I was terrified we were going to lose him. We had to get him to that hospital as fast as humanly possible. The driver weaved recklessly through the LA traffic, narrowly avoiding collisions as he pushed the car to its limits. Sirens wailed in the distance as police responded to the shooting, but the driver paid them no heed, laser-focused on reaching the hospital. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the car screeched to a halt in front of the emergency room entrance. Diddy's bodyguards leapt out, quickly grabbing him and rushing him inside, screaming for immediate medical attention. They came barreling in, this famous guy all bloody and barely conscious, one witness recalled. The staff jumped into action straight away, getting him onto a gurney and pushing him back towards the trauma unit. You could tell they knew this was a life-or-death situation. As Diddy was rushed into the operating room, the doctors and nurses sprang into action, working frantically to stabilize his condition and stem the bleeding. The bullet had caused significant damage, nicking a major artery, and they knew they had to act fast to save his life. For what felt like an eternity, Diddy's loved ones, including his family, close friends, and business associates, paced anxiously in the waiting room, praying for good news. The tension in the air was palpable as they waited with bated breath for any updates on his condition. Finally, after hours of agonizing uncertainty, the lead surgeon emerged from the operating room, a weary but relieved expression on his face. Diddy's loved ones surged forward, bombarding him with questions. The surgery was successful, the doctor announced, raising his hands to calm the crowd. Mr. Combs is stable and resting comfortably. The bullet caused significant damage, but we were able to repair the arterial injury and stop the bleeding. He's going to need some time to recover, but I'm cautiously optimistic about his prognosis. A collective sigh of relief went through the group as they processed the news. Diddy was alive, battered and bruised, but alive. For his loved ones, that was all that mattered. In the days that followed, the details of the shooting began to emerge. Authorities revealed that the attack appeared to be the work of a group of armed robbers who had targeted Diddy's home, likely drawn by the prospect of stealing the music mogul's vast wealth and valuables. This wasn't some random act of violence, the lead investigator explained. These individuals clearly had Diddy's mansion in their sights, and they were willing to use deadly force to get what they wanted. It's a miracle he survived the ordeal. As Diddy recuperated in the hospital, the public outpouring of support was overwhelming. Fans, fellow celebrities, and even complete strangers flooded social media with messages of love and well wishes, relieved that the music icon had managed to cheat death. "I've never seen anything like it," Diddy's publicist marveled. "The love and concern people have shown for him is just incredible. It really speaks to the incredible impact he's had, not just in the music industry, but in the lives of so many people around the world." Indeed, Diddy's near-death experience seemed to have a profound effect on the man himself. As he slowly regained his strength in the hospital, he found himself reflecting deeply on the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. "This whole thing has been a real wake-up call," Diddy confessed to a close friend. "I mean, I was literally staring down the barrel of a gun, wondering if I was going to make it. It puts things in perspective, you know? It makes you realize how precious life is and how you can't take anything for granted." With that newfound appreciation for life, Diddy vowed to make some changes. He pledged to be more present and engaged with his loved ones, to give back to his community in a more meaningful way, and to use his platform and resources to make a positive impact. Diddy started by scheduling regular family dinners and quality time with his children. He listened more intently, put down his phone, and made a conscious effort to be fully present in those moments. The simple act of truly connecting reinvigorated his relationships and filled him with a profound sense of gratitude. Next, Diddy set out to identify causes and organizations he could support in his community. He donated funds to local schools, job training programs, and youth outreach initiatives. But he didn't stop there. Diddy also donated his time, visiting classrooms, volunteering at food banks, and speaking at community events. He found deep fulfillment in these acts of service, fueling his drive to do even more. Recognizing his immense privilege and influence, Diddy also looked for ways to leverage his platform for good. He used his voice to shine a light on important social and political issues, using his massive social media following to spread awareness and inspire action. He hosted town halls, organized voter registration drives, and used his star power to elevate marginalized voices that may have otherwise gone unheard. Through these intentional changes, Diddy discovered a renewed sense of purpose. No longer was he solely focused on personal success and status. His motivations had shifted to making a tangible, positive difference in the lives of others. This transformed outlook brought Diddy a level of peace and joy he had never known before, fueling him to continue on this path of purpose-driven living. How's that? I tried to continue the narrative in a way that builds on the initial premise of Diddy having a newfound appreciation for life and a desire to make changes. Let me know if you would like me to modify or expand the script further.